Okay, remember they're changing my voice. This video should have two clips in it. This first clip, I'm going to emphasize how the video game Tekken, Tekken, has a main character, Jin. And from what I understand, it's in there's several versions of this game, right? Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, or whatever. Tekken Tag or Tekken Tournament, stuff like this. But Jin is central to the story. The most important story of the series of stories, what have you. And he's a guy who is evil, and he's cultivating being evil, right? He's made after police, military. It's the idea that everybody outside the Divine Order is a child of Set and is the Walking Dead. Right? The Divine Order is the Royal African Falcon Martial Art Order. So a bunch of white racists and Jews and LGBT racists got together, and they started making lots of money together, and they said that they want to pretend that they're divine, even though it's obvious that they're not. So they made this story in this video game to kind of feed into the greater network of stories that kind of come together. They all kind of overlap to some degree, is how it's designed, right? You have Batman and so on, Superman, so on and so forth. Is the reason why they look a certain way, they resemble certain types of whites and Jews and so on and so forth. Okay. So Jin is a devil who over time turns into the devil, okay? And his argument is he needs the female angel to save his soul or something and have him come back to being quote-unquote human, which is really just a dog-ass, bitch-ass, lemming-ass devil. You know what I'm saying? But they want you to pretend that if you give them all the hot chicks that magically everything's okay. Dumber than fucking shit. Nothing could be further from the truth. God is love. To give the devil attractive women is the dumbest thing you could fucking do, right? God is the creator. God is love. Sexual immorality is utterly despicable, so on and so forth. Okay, so, it also goes back to the story of Zeus kidnapping people. It goes back to Isis and Set, right? Set is the Egyptian form of Zeus, and Baal is the Middle Eastern form of Zeus, and so on and so forth. And there's some other deities over there. It doesn't really matter, that part. What matters is you understand characteristics. These are ways to explain things to people in a way that is confusing, in order for these people to try to get you to disassociate, right? A dizzy spell, a magic spell, to be under a spell, and to kind of play their stupid fucking game. It's like an intelligence test. If you're dumb enough to choose to find your life in this world in their game instead of being screened out for righteousness' sake in the divine order, you're a dumbass. And part of what they do, that's why they're called intelligence agencies, is try to feed into the fact that dumb fucks who play their game and contribute to their process are somehow smart. Fucking idiots, right? They're scientists and help them, with their technologies of control and on and on and on. Just idiots across the board. It doesn't matter if you have a cure for fucking AIDS. Okay, it's just going to be leveraged by them so they can social engineer more and get people to grovel to them for it. They use these things. I'm sure you've seen it with the inflation and you've seen it with the coronavirus, the pandemic, how they leverage, their money, their social control, what have you, to control sexual behavior, right? Social distancing, right? Social interactions, right? And of course the fuming, right? The word fume, F-U-me, intimidate, in time I date, position is poison, is scrambled. All these other words like this that I cite in my videos that show definitively, right? Prepare is pre-rape scrambled, pirate is rape it scrambled, corporate, right, is the play on words for core pirate. The core rape it kind of force is the corporate, the corporate state, the corporate families, and so on and so forth. Just horrible people want to pretend they have class, buy some fancy estate, go to fancy restaurants. Just awful, awful people, selfish, greedy, pitiful people that obviously are the antichrist and anti-human, and it's very stupid to date them. And to see women, sell their souls for money. They're always dumb women. I never met a gold digger in my life that was smart. I never met a corporate chick in my life that's smart. It's for dumbasses, right? If you go down that path, if then statement, if you choose corporate, if you choose to be hypergamous, if you choose to date rich people, then you're a dumbass. Remember, they're changing my voice. So you see the Jinn in Tekken. Over time, a Jinn turns into the devil. They make the despicable rape call argument that turning the blonde chick angel from Tekken into a slut, supposedly saves his soul. And that story in that video game, the Tekken video game, is based on occult bullshit. They look for any excuse to sexually control people, any excuse for you to be their slave, any excuse for you to choose a long, despicable life over a short, righteous one. Just horrible, horrible thing to do. Very sickening, very evil. Okay? God is extremely opposed to sexual control being done by the devil, being done by people outside the divine order. Okay, God is extremely opposed to their reproduction, extremely opposed to anybody who would have a child. Right? You're not supposed to have kids anymore. You're not supposed to have kids. You know, abortion is much preferred. It is fucking retarded to not know that. And of course, you have countless sickos in the church. You know, people who just got done raping a kid, talking about it's wrong to have an abortion because they want you to have a kid so then them and their friends can rape them. Pretty straightforward.